welcome back. So we are talking about application software, and as I was saying, an application software may be just a single program like a notepad, or it can be so many programs. So example of application softwares, we have payroll software used to basically it is used to create, or I will say is used to keep record of employees' information about their wages and their basic pay and their deductions. We can have also a student record software. That means this is an application software which you can use to manage students in an institution. You can have also an inventory software, which is basically an application software which you can use to manage assets or some inventory. Maybe you're issuing books, some pens, and any inventory, you can also manage it. You can have also an application software that deals with income tax, like the way Kenya or the KRA does their tax computation. So they are using an application software. You can have also railway booking software or reservation software. You can have airlines reservation software. You can have hostel reservation software. You can have even what we are using, Microsoft Word, is an application software. Excel, which is a spreadsheet software used for accounting nature and for data analysis. You can have a presentation software. You use this software to teach or to present your content to your learners, among others. Now, what are the features of an application software? So an application software, in this case, is closer to the user. That means it is a software that is designed to interact with the user. Another feature is these software are easy to design. They are very interactive because they have a lot of menus and a lot of graphics to interact with the user. But they are generally slow in speed because they are bulky in nature. They occupy a lot of space, so they take a lot of time to be loaded. And they are generally written in high-level language. You remember previously I talked about low-level language. Now these ones are written in high-level language. The difference is high-level language is a language that is English-like. It has statements that are easy to understand like an English language. So these softwares, again, they are easy to manipulate and use. They are bigger in size and they are easy to understand. Now let us look at the types of application software, just as we had the types of system software. So what are the types of application software? So we have two types. One type is called packages or application packages. The other one is called user programs or in-house programs. So what are application packages? Application packages are off-shelf programs. They are already developed and they are supplied by computer manufacturers. So you'll find, like in our case, we have Office packages, which includes Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, Microsoft PowerPoint, Publisher, Groove, Outlook, all of them supplied as a package or as a suite. The user program, part of it, or the in-house program, these are application softwares that are designed to solve a specific task in an organization. That means they are customized to perform a particular task. An example would be like in our case in Kenya, if we wanted a software to manage students, then we'll have to request for it to be designed and programmed so that it can manage our Lukenya activities specific to our institution. So these are in-house programs. So you are asked to advise somebody on how to acquire or how to select a software. Maybe somebody has bought a hardware, maybe a computer, laptop, or what have you, and you, having gone through an ICT class, you are asked to, recommend how is going to select the right software for the machine. So there are several factors that you may need to consider, and one is the element of cost. Cost will simply mean out there in the market, what is the cost of the software compared to other similar softwares, and the benefits that you're going to get when you incur a particular cost. So cost is always an overriding factor. Then followed by reliability. So reliability simply means a good software must be reliable, free of errors, tested and proven. That is a reliable software. Always there to work without so much errors. A good software also must be user-friendly. That means it must give you a user interface that is friendly enough, like menu system, some messages, some feedback, some error handling. That is user-friendliness of a software. Then also another factor is a software must be able to meet the user need, the purpose to which you wanted it to perform. So not just any software, but it should be able to meet the user needs. Another factor which is very important is the element of documentation. Yeah, a good software must be accompanied by some manuals which you can refer to. When you are stuck, you can go back to the manual and refer to, maybe consult, maybe get some dictionary, some definition, some glossary, and what have you. Yeah, so documentation is very important. Then another factor we also look at is compatibility and upgradability. Compatibility simply means the software must be accepted by the hardware, or it must run in the existing hardware. You should not find a scenario whereby you've purchased a software and you cannot load it to a machine, maybe because the processor is not equivalent to it, or the memory, and what have you. Upgradability means this software, can it be receiving some updates? Can it be configured? Can it be improved on? So that is the upgradability. Most softwares nowadays, they will be picking updates every now and then for them to be up to date or to handle some particular bugs which are in them. Another factor is authenticity. Some people call it warranty. So a good software again should have warranty. Warranty simply means, have you been given some grace period? When it develops errors, you can be able to get a replacement or some service or some support. Again, we are saying authenticity means you should purchase a software, not using a pirated one. That means a genuine software. That is authenticity. Yeah, so these are some of the factors which you can use to advise somebody when he's selecting a software. Now, let us look further into the issue of operating system. We have talked about operating system. Now, operating system is a program with the following features. This program gives you an interface, that is a go-between. It's an interface between software, other softwares that you're going to load in your machine and the computer hardware. Or rather, it makes the hardware operate. So it is an interface. For you to interact with the hardware, there must be a software called operating system. It is normally a set of specialized programs which manage resources in your machine. So your machine has memory, your machine has CPU, it has output and input, it has power, it has motherboard. So all these resources must be managed by a software. That's why we call it a supervisor. Again, this operating system helps to control and monitor other programs. So other programs like Microsoft Word and what have you are controlled and monitored. Their behavior is being monitored by an operating system, so that now the operating system understands which program should run and which user is using what. So there's a diagram there which you can look at how the layering of this software is. At the topmost layer you have the user. The user interacts with application software. That's why you find the arrows going up and down. Then the application software is normally interacting with operating system. That means it comes above operating system. It is loaded after the operating system. Then the operating system communicates with the hardware and operates the hardware. So if you are at the user level, you see between the user and the hardware, there are two layers. That's why we are talking about interface. Now, what are the objectives of having an operating system? Or what does the operating system, what does it do? So the operating system makes your computer convenient to use. Your computer is complicated if you are to look at it in terms of transistors, switches, ICs, and all those things. But to hide now all that information from you, we use operating system. So it makes your computer convenient. You don't have to think about how many ICs, how much power is it receiving, and what have you. It hides the details of the hardware from you. So really don't have to worry what goes on inside the system unit. Those details are hidden by the operating system. It provides you an interface, as I've been talking. Interface, a menu system, a way you can create folders, a way you can name files, you can have dates, you can have icons and all that. So it is an intermediary between you and the hardware, and it can help you to manage resources like memory. Yeah, it knows how to manage, because memory is limited, so it knows how to manage different sections of your memory, what to put here, what to put there. And it also helps keep track of everything that is happening in your computer. So all the different users of the computer, when they logged in, how much time they spent in the computer, what program they were using, and it will keep that information for you. Again, it will provide a fair way of apportioning resources among users and programs. So it works with a time schedule, or there are schedulers that are scheduling different processes in your computer, so that no program feels it has been denied an opportunity to run. Now, looking broadly at functions of operating system, functions simply mean, now what does it do? So your operating system manages memory. That is one function, number one. Memory management. It will track all the available memory, that is primary memory and secondary memory, and it will allocate programs and processes to that memory. Number two, it will manage the processor. So the brain of the computer, the CPU, has to be managed, because a CPU requires to access memory, It requires to manipulate different things, to give results, to receive input. So it has to be managed. So a program called operating system manages the processor. So we call process management. Again, this operating system, another function is to manage devices. Devices may mean input and output devices. Okay, so your keyboard, your mouse, your monitor, and any device that you connect, be it a joystick, be it a plotter, they must be managed. So they are managed by an operating system. Your operating system, again, it helps you to manage files. When you talk of files, we are simply saying, can you be able to create a folder, give it a name, know exactly where you have placed that file? So file management is the whole process of creating files and placing them in their respective folders and directories. So your operating system will keep track of file management. Where is a particular file located? What is the name of the file? What is the size of the file? When was it created? When was it last updated? So that is file management. Then another function is security. Because computer has a lot, there must be some security. We have to prevent unauthorized access to programs, because some people might access your computer to do some damage, to delete your files, to delete your programs. So operating system will give you a way to secure your programs and files by the use of user accounts and password. That means you'll have to access a computer when you create a user account and a password, a strong enough password that you can only remember. That is the security part of it. And by extension, also security may mean it can also scan for viruses and remove those viruses. We shall learn about viruses in the future. Another function is job accounting. Some people call it audit trail. Your operating system will keep track of everything that is happening in your machine, what time and what resource it is being used. So it monitors the different jobs and what resources they are using, how many users and all that. That information is normally available as a trail or as an audit trail. So that's what we call job accounting. Then your operating system again will basically help you detect errors. So when an error happens or occurs in your program, there will be an error message. So it has a place where it stores those error messages for you to come and handle or debug. To debug is to remove those errors, is removing bugs. So this helps in maintaining the software to its operating state. So we still have some more functionalities which you can get from your notes, but these are some of the functionalities that we have. Now I want us to conclude this lecture by talking about booting. I know the word booting can be abused and it may mean a lot of things to different people. But in computer environment, when you talk of computer booting, we are simply saying this is the process whereby a computer will start. That is, you're switching it on, then it runs some basic program for setup purposes. So when you switch on a computer, by pressing the power button, you are booting your computer. That is called cold booting. That means your computer is waking up, it was initially off, and it will run a program called BIOS. And this program will do what we call power on self-test, or your machine will test different things attached to it, memories, processor, and what have you, to confirm that they are in order and they are in the right place and they are in good working condition. So the process of doing that is called power on self-test, ama post. So post is power on. The computer switched on and it runs some program whereby it has to test some parameters. So the computer in this case uses a program that is stored in ROM. We have talked about ROM, read-only memory. Read-only memory, we said, is a memory that stores program, or a program that is required. So there is a program called BIOS, Basic Input Output System. This one is normally made available when computer is booting, so that now it can run to confirm if everything is in place, and your computer will give you now the environment for you to log in. Now, booting can be in two ways. I've talked about cold booting, when you switch on your computer if it was off. But what if I was using my computer and then it froze or it hanged? I could not type, I could not use the mouse and the keyboard. Then I'll have to force my computer to restart by, pressing the power button for some time. So that type of booting is called warm booting. I am forcing my machine to restart. It is basically restarting the operating system. That means the operating system had frozen, or it had hung, or it had encountered an error. That means I could not work. So I have to force it by pressing the power button for long until it restarts. That is called warm booting. Now I think with that, you can refer to your notes, and where you need some more explanation, you can always revert back. Otherwise, God bless you so much.